Well, out here in the parking lot with Gale Banks. I guess this truck is meant for the quarter mile.
This thing is strictly quarter mile, yeah.
What powers it?
Well, it's a 6.6 liter, about 403 cubic inch V8 Duramax diesel, like comes in a pickup truck or a Top Kick or a Kodiak,
right.
You know, the medium trucks.
Sure.
It's got aluminum heads, which that's how they come. It's probably 150 pounds heavier than the big block Chevy. It's making right about, this one is about 1320 right now. The one in our back motor dragster is high 13s right now.
Now, how many pounds of boost you running?
Well, we run in the high 30s or low 40s. We also run a couple of stages of nitrous. So in a run, we have a 1 gallon diesel tank, which runs about all day. That's the most fuel efficient engine I've ever had on a dyno. And I've been dynoing for 51 years. It's
really
hard to believe you could make 1,300 and some horsepower and have real strong fuel efficiency.
But again, that's just to the flywheel, Gale. So let's not.
Yeah, I'm probably losing a 75 on the way to the wheel tires. Yeah.
So if you're using the synthetic diff fluid, you'd make a lot more up. So what we're dealing with is a 400 cubic inch engine.
Right.
Is it considered a big block or small block?
You know, I'd call it a big block. It's scale-wise, it's a big block.
It's 400. It's 1,300 and change in the horsepower.
It turns 5,800 RPM. Well, when we're doing the burnouts, we'll hit 5,800 during the burnouts. Usually he shifts a little earlier, maybe 56, 57. So we're spinning it. These things in a pickup truck turn about 3,200.
Really? Yeah, really?
So
that's it?
We're spinning the snot out of it. Yeah, diesels don't turn fast.
That's right, diesel. Yeah.
That's the other thing we're looking at here is high-speed diesel.
Also, the torque that you get out of a diesel is so much greater than you get out of a gasoline engine, and so the low displacement small engines can work in bigger cars because it'll get you off the line.
Exactly.
So for those of you who are not watching at home and only listening at home, two big beautiful plenums on top, headers turned up, feeding twin turbochargers. It looks like a marine application, really.
It's real close to one of our marine engines. In fact, on bankspower.com, they can see the marine engines, how they look.
Speaking of the Marines, Gale was telling me that he was working with like the SEALs and the Navy and all the Coast Guard and all those people making engines.
And even we're going to be testing some engines coming up with the FBI and a couple of different boats that they have.
Wow.
It's kind of an anti-terrorism thing. It's like the FBI has a small Navy, which kind of blindsided me.
Well, I mean, if you're going after crazy pirates in Somalia or you're trying to bust the crazy guys coming over here to blow up our ports.
They don't want the coal happening in an American port. That's the deal.
Right. So USS coal, not the coal mining that we were talking about earlier.
Exactly.
See, we're on the same page.
We're there.
So let's walk around and take a look at this engine for a second.
Well, what you've got...
It is shoehorned, by the way.
Yeah, well, that's 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag for sure. I mean, we're taking air off the nose right here, so you get a strong ram air. Then it ducts up. There's hose couplings right here. There's a ducting system in the nose, so we ram the turbo compressors. Faster you go, the sweeter that gets. So that gives you, that's a poor man's supercharge. Then we're around 40 pounds of boost, and then we start laying in the nitrous.
And now you're on the NOS.
We are on the NOS.
And how?
No intercooling. The nitrous does the cooling. So that's about 7-8 pounds of nitrous per pass.
So the nitrous does that much cooling that you don't need to run intercoolers?
We've got thermocouples in the system where we're measuring temperature to ensure that it does it. The air going into the engine, my goal is 125 degrees Fahrenheit. That's my maximum.
Right.
Right now it's about 150, 152. It's a little above what I want. And so I'm going to put another stage of nitrous on it.
And what kind of times is this thing turning as far as quarter mile
Well, this is the quickest and fastest diesel in the United States, or in the world for that matter. Runs the record is a 777 at a $180 flat.
And that's this vehicle?
That's this vehicle.
Absolutely
Our dragster is in the 90s and then in the low 7s. We're just starting out. It's a 5-speed. We haven't been we've run through 4th. We've never made a full pass yet with the digger.
So, I mean, you love the marine application.
Yep.
You love doing the quarter-mile stuff. You're also into the salt flat stuff. Most crowds usually get divided between the short runs and the long runs. You're into road racing.
Right.
I mean, it's just, if it has an engine and it goes somewhere, you're into it.
But I like to have my adrenaline up for a while. It's like, I've never really been huge into drag racing. We screwed with it long enough in NHRA to get them to ban it in Top Fuel and Funny Car. You can't turbocharge.
Oh, right.
And we got it banned in offshore racing.
Why can't you turbocharge in Top Fuel when you can supercharge in Top Fuel?
That was my question, but I think
I
they decided it would be too hard to regulate.
I got to be honest, that was my wife. My wife said, you know, if you have Gale Banks on the show anytime, ask him why. And she started pointing at me, and I could see she's upset because she said the hypocrisy of them with their blown big block Hemi engines, but yet Gale Banks banned, almost run out of the country because he throws a clean, non-crank robbing turbocharger. I mean, she started.
What the hell's wrong with the guy?
She was livid. She was
like a tar and feather.
Yeah, I'd tell her, calm down, sweetie. You're gonna blow a tampon. She's very upset, passionate woman about that. Passionate. So this is the dragster. Well, not the dragster. It's the funny car.
Yeah. Pro stock. It's a pro stock truck.
Yeah. The pro stock truck. Normally we have people fire up their cars here, but I don't know if that's possible. Is that possible?
Actually, I don't even think it's fueled. The guys aren't even looking at me, so I don't think it's possible.
All right. Well, let's go to a car where it looks a little more possible to fire up.
Oh yeah,
this is it looks like a Volkswagen diesel wagon.
2009 Jetta TDI diesel. Mm-hmm. These things, 6-speed dual clutch transmission, which is sweet. This is right out of road racing. This gearbox shifts in 100 milliseconds, or less. That's a tenth of a second.
Wow.
So when you're driving, it's got the paddles. I mean, it's a low buck car, and it's got so much going for it. First time let me give you this. Picked it up down in Huntington Beach. Took it up around Pasadena for 3 days. Drove it up to Yosemite. I'm building a house up there.
Sure.
And we'll talk about wood butchering later.
Turbocharged house.
So it's
diesel powered, turbocharged.
It's a V8 house. I'll show you the floor plan before I'm out of here. It's a V8 house. Got an oil pan, the whole thing.
Wow.
But the deal here is I drive the thing up to Yosemite, work on the house for 3 days, drive it all the way back to Bakersfield, and it's telling me you're on reserve. So I chicken out and I fuel it.
Right.
14.3 gallons.
The tank holds?
No, that's what it took.
No, what does the tank hold? I'm with you.
Probably 17, 18.
Right, so you still had 3 gallons left. 3 gallons left. You drove.
I just didn't want it to die on the
Pasadena to.
No, from Huntington Beach to Pasadena.
Right, to Yosemite.
And back to, drove around up there for 3 days and back to Bakersfield. So you've got mountain driving. I'm doing 80 on 99 between Bakersfield and Fresno, both directions.
Sure.
You know,
you're a maniac.
So it's 600 and some miles, 14.3 gallons.
Unbelievable.
Plus, driving up to Yosemite, this thing handles. We got a little handling package we do on these. Mm-hmm. This one's up a little. Normally we drop them about an inch, but when I'm going to the mountains, you know, that off-road part.
Yeah.
So, but this thing grooves, and you come off the turns and you're punching that 6-speed.
And so what's this thing have
two people pulled over and let me go.
Really?
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. It's like it's a Volkswagen.
And and by the way, if you're driving a car and a 6-year-old guy, how old are you again?
67.
Sorry. And a 67-year-old guy in a Volkswagen station wagon is dusting your ass. Go on, take a good hard look in the mirror,
there's something
people.
wrong. Yeah.
I've had that happen to me where I'm driving the Volvo wagon, the wife and the kids are in the back, and I'm coming up on a guy who's driving a Scirocco or something, and I'm riding his ass, or and I'm like, come on, and I'm thinking,
he's having an identity
You're wearing
crisis.
a members only jacket, and you're 28 years old, and I'm up your ass in the Volvo with the kids, and there's the door of the Explorer videos rolling around. Come on now.
Yeah.
I'm 4 feet off the ground. Let's get going.
What the hell is this?
What are you doing? All right, so what's this have under the bonnet, as we like to say in English?
Can we pop it? Yeah. We're going to look.
Sure.
Basically, We did a cold air kit that really helped it. Cut the intake restriction in half. And which is this guy here.
So it's a straight four, yeah?
Side saddle.
Yeah.
Front drive.
Front drive.
But that doesn't torque steer hardly at all, which is cool.
They've
they
worked
got
that
worked out.
So now this thing is putting out what kind of horsepower in its stock trim?
They're a $140, 140 horsepower.
But a lot. Now is this?
We're up from that, of course, but
is this naturally aspirated?
No, it's turbo.
Oh, this is turbo.
It's turbo.
And so, your point is, this. How many liters are we talking about? 2 liter motor.
122 cubic inch.
Right. You have your Banks ram air system there. Now I'm guessing you could do some chip work
we have.
too. You've done some chip work.
Here it is, right here.
Oh, I see. Right.
We got our 6-gun tuner on there, and then inside is a Banks IQ, which is this. What I did was we built a PC. We put it on the dash. It runs all my equipment. It tells you everything the car is doing. It's called the Banks IQ. So that's real new. That's super new.
So the point is if you get these cars, they're relatively inexpensive. You can put in the cold air induction. You can put the chip in, for a lack of a better term.
We did the exhaust.
And you do the exhaust. Stuff's still under warranty.
Unless we break it. If my stuff breaks anything, then I pay for it.
Right.
Otherwise,
and get an extra how much horsepower out of one of these
well,
things?
basically what I'm looking at is 20%, but I'm more interested in the torque curve.
So that much more torque and never opening. You never have to open the motor.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to drop the pan and pull the heads and do any of that stuff.
These guys well, that's that rugged motor you were talking about.
Right.
Commonly, the guys with the pickup trucks buy our stuff, 150 to 170 more horsepower, and like 230, 240 more pound-feet of torque in a stock engine.
So do you envision a future where people are just having 2-liter motors with tons of torque, and also
or
decent 3-liter,
yeah.
decent horsepower, tons of torque, and all running off the shit that's in a koi pond?
Exactly.
I love it.
Exactly.
Gale Banks.
And it's clean.
I wish we had. You know what I'm going to say? You're an American, and we need more. We need more Americans like Gale Banks. And what can I say? Come back anytime. Bring the rail with you, or bring the Bonneville car with you, or whatever it is. It was a pleasure. Gale Banks, everyone.